Hey, what's up? It's BU here, and I'm here to do a reaction on Tyler the Creator's Goblin. But before I get into that, I want to talk about how I first heard of Tyler, and this was back in grade school when I remember this group of kids, they would be wearing OF merch and golf merch, and I remember just being like, you guys are a cult, and I guess that kind of made me skeptical of his stuff. I mean, I wasn't really like familiar with any of his music or anything like that. We, I guess, just as people, we go to conclusions sometimes, and we judge a book by its cover, I guess. And I think that's something that people have done with Tyler's work in general, just because he's someone who is bi in the rap scene, but you know, it is what it is. Um, I haven't really listened to rap that much as of late, so this is also an opportunity for me to branch out and get into more of that. But let's get into the songs that I'm interested in on this album. Alright. So, first of all, Goblin, because that's the title track. I want to know what this album is about, and if it can give any insight into that. Also, Yonkers, that name is just funny. Thirdly, She, because one of my friends, he really likes this song. I haven't heard it before though. Then Tron Cat. In my Googling of Tyler, I heard that this was one of his aliases, so I want to know about that. Also, I want to know what this acronym means. Also, he has, I put food, that's not an actual track, but he has a lot of tracks on this album that are names of foods, so I want to know what that's about. What's Tyler got to say about that? Okay, track number one. Let's get into it. This is the title track, Goblin. Oh my god, toxic. It's like his internal monologue. Oh, so Kanye boosted him. Yonkers. So that song's gonna be pretty good, huh? Hates his grandma's cooking. Damn. Is that a reference to his group of OF and him being the leader or something? Everyone's in a dream. Jackson. It's made for the It's made for the underdog. It's not for everyone who's listening and everyone who follows the charts. What is he? What is he talking about? Wow. That's a statement. That track, he's really just saying, like, you don't have to like me, I'm doing my own thing. OF, we're doing our own thing. And he came from the bottom, he can do the things that he wasn't able to do, like buy presents for his mom. He walks a different path from the usual, like, school to job because he made it through singing. And that last line, or one of the last lines, where he's just like, the devil doesn't wear Prada, he wears a white tee. That was pretty amazing. Also, just the whole dynamic of him talking with that, like, inner monologue and it just going back and forth was really nice too. I enjoyed that. So it's a good insight into the album, and it's just a fun track where you can basically go into his mind and know what he's thinking. It's really honest. Okay, track number 2, Yonkers. And it's interesting because he mentioned it in the previous song, and so it was a single that caught on and is pretty catchy, so let's see what it's about. Wolf Haley, that's another one of his aliases. This sounds familiar. Makes a lot of dick jokes, this album. He made a reference to Airplanes by B.O.B. and Haley Williams. Oh my gosh. Wait, that's brilliant. He mentioned Pitchfork and Critics in the last line. He connected those two together. Oh, that got really dark. But that production was crazy. I really liked the flow of it too. It was overall a pretty satisfying song with good references, but that ending, his only role model ended up splattered on the ground. Wow. And he, like, compared himself to his dad, and that they're both goblins, and he's gonna end up just like him, dead. Okay, track number 3, Radicals. Okay, it's fiction. Glad bag. So unhinged. That's sad, but positive. It's like making your own party when you're not invited. You have each other. Daddy issues. GTA, Tyler the Creator. That's facts. Do whatever you want. But be realistic. But also dream big. Hey, he said he's a cult. He said Wolfgang is a cult. I was right. This is so real. The song is pretty relevant for today, even. Wow, that song was amazing. That's the simplest way I can explain it. It's getting added to a playlist, but as far as the content goes, that was really relevant to today. Like, specifically, he says, like, be whatever you want to be, like, you are what you are. He said, I'm a unicorn. Like, you can't really disagree with that. That's what I am. And he's talking about all these bigger ideas like religion and what else? Traditions, religion. He's like, that's not me. That's you're putting all of that stuff onto me, and that's pretty relevant for today, as I was saying before, because of like the rise of pronouns, the rise of people deciding for themselves what their gender is and what they want to be outside of what is normal. And yeah, it's just really telling of that. Another thing is that I think in this context, the song is more about like being gay and relating to sexual orientation, just because um, he mentions how like don't push that stuff on me, like tradition and religion, and because they weren't really talking about gender at this time too much, and he's kind of pushing back on that and saying, be who you are. And it's funny because this is pretty close to like Born This Way and Lady Gaga. So maybe that's also some sort of inspiration or something that came out pretty close to it, and maybe it's unrelated and they're just thinking about that due to the conditions of the time. And of course, because this is a decade ago, it's going to be a lot more difficult socially than what it is today. And I also like how he touched on, like before, in talking about his dad and how like his dad didn't give him anything, so he's like entirely self-made, and yeah, he made his dreams come true. He wants us, the listeners, to also follow our dreams and make things happen for ourselves. And I think it's safe to say that I'm a fan now. It's a great song. Because that's what music is about. Like, some music can be meaningless and you just listen to it to be happy or to for whatever, but what makes music truly art is when you're challenging something and you're making people think deeply about issues, and you're starting a revolution through your art, and it's something that gets people talking. I think that's what makes this track in particular and this work, this album as a whole, it makes it work really well for me and for many others, I assume, too. But yeah, it's really great in that regard. Okay, track number 4, She. This is the track that my friend likes, so we're gonna see what it's about. Supremacy thing back then? Frank. He's mentioning Adventure Time again. He's a fan. Lifeless Body. I think that lyric should have been revised. Yeah, those lyrics were... should have been revised. I mean, at least he's honest. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't quite like that song. And I know that it's a popular song, so I'm interested as to why people like it, because I personally don't. But it is what it is. The Frank Ocean feature, I mean, it's Frank. You're always gonna be like chilled out by whatever he's singing, and he was good in it. But I found Tyler's parts very unsettling and strange. but he said what he wanted to say. Okay, track number 5, Transylvania. Wolf Haley again. Heiny. Piggy and Chinny Chin Chin. The neighborhood Target. Now that I think about the previous track, it kind of connects, like, with the shouting at the end of She. Kind of connects, like, with the screaming you hear at the end of this, because it's like Dracula and taking a bite out of someone's neck and them screaming, I guess. But this track, Transylvania itself, it's pretty edgy, like the theme of the album is, but it still has a nice production, nice beat and flow, and it sounds really nice. So I generally like it, even through its strange lyrics. It sounds good. Okay, track number 6, Nightmare. The voice is back. That piano. Oh my god. Speaking to like a lot of his insecurities. Not feeling good enough. I'm wondering who the Bay is, because they have mentioned that person a few times. Wow. That song was also really raw, and as I said before, it talks about his insecurities and not feeling good enough. But it also later on speaks about the fame and the downsides of fame, how he didn't want this, and how he's really different from how he was. He talked about how he missed his younger brother growing up, and his younger brother missed him growing up. And I thought that was really profound, because that's just how time is. We're the youngest we are today, we're getting older. It's like, how that older person sees you and they're like, I knew you when you were a kid, and it's like this whole crazy thing, and it is that crazy. You're so different from how you were. Yeah. This track also speaks to what I was talking about in the other songs and about being gay, because he talked about how he was crying about a guy, an ex, or someone else. Just some type of lover, I guess, but maybe not, maybe family, but also talks about alcohol and its numbing effects and not having to be with yourself in your sober state because, there's stuff you don't want to deal with. And he also talked about how with the fame, people were being fake and being nice only after he got famous. And yeah, people before he got like record deals didn't want to be friends with him, but now they're showing up now that he's famous. And he also regrets being famous, and I think that's also connected with that. He doesn't want to have to deal with all this fake stuff, the spectacle maybe too. Doesn't want all of that. He also spoke to like wanting like a simple life and just wanting to stay at that Travis person's house, just with all of his stuff, eating simple food, having everything be routine. That's all he wants, just simplicity. Okay, let's get to track number 7, Troncat. This is one that I wrote down because I remember reading about how this was his alias before he became Tyler, so yeah, let's check it out. Wolf, like his other album. I noticed he refers to himself as Wolf a lot. What? He really referenced Rihanna and Chris Brown's relationship. That background, those background vocals. It sounds like a kid who's like la la la, Ladera. That's exactly what I'd say. Me too. I don't know like whether to refer to that deep voice as the Goblin or just like the inner monologue, but whatever he said about that last line he said at the end of all of that, that's me. Okay, not a lot to say other than that about that track, but let's get to track number 8, Her. Who's Richard? Her name is my password. The Roxy. Huh. She goes to another school. That song is like the textbook, like, crush song. Like, he's imagining all of, like, these things that he wants to do with her, and but there's that extra problem that she's like in a relationship, or she's like seeing other people. Who knows what it is, honestly, but something like that. And yeah, it's just pretty textbook, like, talking about her envisioning a future. And well, there isn't really a future anymore since she's in Nebraska apparently, but yeah. Okay, track number 9, Sandwiches. And this is a food song, so let's see what Tyler has to say about food. They're them, we are us. You and the yellow, come over here. Self aware. Oh no. Not a reference to Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh my god. Oh yeah, this is a feature. I didn't see it before. Haji. Yeah, that is the right name. Damn. Sounds like Kanye West. So that song was about, how he was talking before about not growing up with having a lot. Like his dad, like dying really early, and the whole like slew of problems that come with that. And also just how he was talking about how all these people have like really nice things, and he never got to have any of that. Um, Also, just he was talking about how people put his music like in a box and they're labeling it as horrorcore. I remember he did that in the earlier tracks too, but he said something that's important, like you shouldn't just like label music as one thing and then just keep that like narrative going. You should like listen to the whole work and like make a decision for yourself, not label it as horrorcore and then judge it by its cover and not like consider all of it, you know? That's what he's going for. Okay, song number 10, Fish, another food song. Oh, the rhyming. Oh my god, I know where this is going. Gaza Strip. It said Frankie, and I was like, wait, do you guys mean Frank Ocean? And I got my answer. Oh my gosh. That song, it reminded me of, you know, that Nicki Minaj song and that TikTok trend that took the internet by storm. You know, Super Freaky Girl by Nicki Minaj, and you know, that one thing about me is that I, and then they do their story to the beat. That's what that like ending verse, I'd say, sounded like to me. I was also wondering what being a Boppin, you know what, was, and then they said it. They were like, well, like they hinted at it. They didn't like explicitly say it, but like a Boppin bee is somebody who carries STDs essentially. You guys are welcome for that analysis, that very in-depth analysis, by the way. I also really liked how Tyler's voice was pitched down. That sounded really cool, and I like that stylistic choice. Okay, track number 11, Analog. Another Haji feature. Concubine. I really enjoyed that track, and it makes me think that Tyler is like a hopeless romantic type of person. Well, I shouldn't say hopeless. He is a romantic. Like he sings about, or not sings. He raps about all of these things he wants to do, and like how he's gonna spend time with women, and like how he's gonna have fun with them and make them happy. And I really like the beat and the production on it as well. And I think the feature of Haji was a nice balance, and I liked the like laughing tracks it would have like of the girl like she's having fun. Yeah, I think it was pretty good. Okay, track number 12. We have finally made it to BSD. Time to figure out what this acronym means. 2 features on it. Oh. More OF people. That's what it means. Tyler with his unicorns. There he is with the word bop again. There's this one piece of the instrumental that sounds like Pink and White from Frank Ocean. Self-aware. What was that ending? That was crazy. So it starts out as him and his friends basically like flexing and like having fun. And then it evolves into that where he kills Jasper and Taco. That went very dark, but that's on brand with this album. Okay, track 13. It's gonna be called Window, and it's 8 minutes, which is crazy. And it's gonna have 4 features on it. So we have Haji returning, Frank Ocean returning, then we have Domo Genesis and Mike G. Okay, this is Window. Oh my god. Where are Taco and Jasper? Oh. This is Frank, right? Because he mentioned cars, and I remember he's really into cars. Holy crap. What is a Maserati worth? A lot. Back to Tyler. Tyler knows how to make me laugh. Unicorn counter is at 3. Holy crap. That makes me like want to tear up. What the... Oh my gosh. Like that track, it starts out with like him and his friends talking about how they made it and everything, and like more of them flexing and stuff, and then Tyler's verse comes and he's just so negative. He just like cuts into it and he like shuts down everything they're talking about. Like he just sabotages it essentially. Like with the song and its features, I was honestly expecting this, but it hit harder than I thought, you know? Because, you know, he had features on the last song and he killed them. So I was like, he's probably going to continue his rampage on this next one. But holy crap. This... Like, I'm really wondering what that other voice is supposed to be. Because, like, you think it's like an inner monologue, but it's also like manifested as like a person. Like it's like they're physically there and Tyler's like asking them for help. It's really scary, and like I'm just thinking about like what this could be. Okay, we've got these last 5 tracks, and the next one is going to be track number 14, AU79. So let's check it out. Doesn't have lyrics, so I'm kind of going blind. Like that. So this is where Tyler's mind went after he killed his friends. I honestly don't even mind that it's not a song with lyrics, because I personally really enjoy soundtracks and instrumental music, so no complaints from me. So that's AU79, and it's a nice segue from the trauma of the past track. It's very therapeutic, and it was needed after Window. I'll just say that much. But let's get to track number 15, Golden. This one has lyrics.
Tyler, you obviously have some fucking problems, and this is, you gotta say. Mom is getting jealous. I see my manager more than I see her. Before I go on tour, that hurts. Yeah. I miss the days when this is fun, but now we're turning to work and getting legal, so I gotta watch the shit that I've learned. White kids copy shit. Ending it is all I fucking think about. That's the shit I think fucking helped me with shit. You know what I mean? With shit. Fuck. Yeah, you did that. Fuck you. Fuck you. Shoot their friends. Fucking fuck. I killed my fucking friend. Fuck. We're gonna need security in here, and
Yeah, what is his problem? I ask that seriously.
Get the fuck away from me. Get away from here. Because nobody gave a fuck. Oh, fade me.
Wait, does he say that in his normal voice? Wait. Yeah, it cuts back to him speaking in like the normal Tyler voice, not the conscience, the deeper voice that's speaking to him. But wow, that song, it connects back to Window, and right here it explains that the friends are figments of his imagination, and that this conscience that's speaking to him is it's his, yeah, that voice, it's his conscience, and it's an amalgamation of every other alias he's ever had: Tron Cat, Ace, Wolf Haley. It's everything. It's the conscience, but it's also Tyler. He brings it back to himself, and he's also connecting on the idea that of like his mom working for everything and nobody really knowing what he's going through. Before I get into track number 16, I wanted to talk about AU79, because the acronym AU is alternate universe in like some circles, so maybe that makes a lot of sense to me, that it's like an alternate universe, that he's in like a dreamlike state maybe after doing those horrible things. It could really be anything. I don't know like the context, of course, but just a thought I had. Okay, track number 16, Burger, and this is another food one, so let's get into it.
Nigga, this is my cup. Drink the cyanide up. Dope as fuck, so I would really shoot a group of guys up in Rome in a black baked spaghetti strap made of Roman noodles. My bitch is bad, mixed with a thicky ass can store beef. Hey, it's sitting right in my lap. I say it, scribbled across the lines. I painted. I'm the fucking poet. Hey, no
Haji again.
comprehend the language. You scared of what? I'm more anxious. We got the Angus if you won't be.
Angus and beef.
Go to Shake House and plant goblins in his kitchen, then force him and his mom to listen to track 6. Then if he doesn't
What's
like
track
how
6?
he slices fucking dick,
I don't remember.
in the cabinet where the fucking cookies and chips is. F Soldier.
Well, track 6 is Nightmare. I just checked. Wow. He'd play that for her. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this song, I liked how they connected, like how Haji connected the ingredients of the burger and then connected that together. That was cool. But let's get to track number 17, Untitled 63. Just another nice instrumental before perhaps another storm. Okay, final track. We have made it. Track 18 is Steak Sauce, another food one. Let's get into it.
Rolling in the
No, he referenced it again. Chris Brown and Rihanna. You're a common cold. His voice sounded like someone familiar. I forgot that guy's name, but it's the guy who's like, X gon' give it to you. Oh my gosh. Okay, that is Goblin. Now I'll get into my rating. I believe that album was a very strong 10, and I think this because I've never really heard anything like it. Like there were so many like emotions, and I felt like I just saw a movie, and the that's like the reaction it elicited from me. That's how like strong the emotions were on this album. Topics ranging from like thinking about suicide and coming from nothing, dealing with a whole slew of problems, ones that I'm not even aware of that he has because I don't have the full context, but also like him finding success, but the problems that arose with that, whether that be people being fake and only being wanting to become friends with him after that happened, and like another side of it, just the reviews from people who labeled his music a certain way and kind of put him in a box and pushed him aside. But yeah, there was just so much, and it made me feel so much. And even in all of like that pessimism and darkness and the horror core of it all, there was still like a message of positivity in one of his tracks about like just doing whatever you want. He encourages you to do that because we only have one life, and we have to use it wisely and do things that we enjoy, because if we don't, we'll become unhappy. And he even like lied to like his mom about it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to community college, but what was he actually doing? He was recording, following his passions. He's a really good example of following your dreams to the finish line or somewhere before that. He made it happen. He wants us to make it happen too. But yeah, I don't think like touching more on how I've never like experienced something like that before, like the crypticness of Window and the track before that, and then him touching on it later. The whole dynamic with his conscience and that deep voice, that was like so scary and like something I've never experienced before. And I get scared easily. You should know that. But and in albums in general, I'm somebody who hasn't consumed like too many. I'm relatively new to this. That's part of the reason I've started a channel reviewing music, is because I want to expand my taste and learn new things and like make new friends through this and enjoy music, share music, find stuff that's good, find stuff that's bad, let people know what I'm thinking. I want to know what other people are thinking. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching through all the way here if you did. Even if you didn't and you've just skipped through to here, thank you for being here and hearing my thoughts and opinions on this album. And with that being said, let me know if you thought my reaction was correct. What did you think about this album? Would you rate it what I did? Would you rate it lower, maybe? What tracks did you like? Some standout tracks for me were Goblin, Yonkers, Radicals, Window, and AU79. Those 5 tracks were really enjoyable to me, and yeah, those are the ones I choose. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.